The process of life. We're born, we live, we die. That's it, I'm done. Thing is a dash of life, that small punctuation we put between the born and death dates on a headstone, is deceptive. It's a straight line. And as we all know, life is anything but straight. We encounter quite a bit along that dash that can derail our efforts, cause us harm, sever our trust, and even make us feel that dash to the end is too long and too hard. It starts with messaging from the time we're very little and affects us throughout our lives. According to research, we begin to form memories around 2.5, 3 years old. The first memory that I have was of my mother's mother, my grandmother, passing on. It was her funeral. And the vision or the images that I have in my head was of my grandmother lying still in front of the room, and my aunt, who was a teenager at the time that her mother passed, one of my mom's younger sisters, was crying and flailing and yelling, and my father was trying to help her, and I remember sitting there feeling, and other people were sitting, but this is the image that I have. That memory was unsettling and scary for me, yet when I look back now, I don't feel that unsettled feeling or that fear, even though I do remember the fear. Now, I feel the love and care and sadness that was wrapped up in the event I witnessed. My next memories were of being 5 and starting school in Michigan. Not being able to speak English, learning to read with my mom, and hanging out with my aunt, same aunt who was a teenager, who lived with us at the time. Those memories evoke joy and wonder. Then we moved back to New York, and my sister was born. My gift that year, instead of the baby alive doll that I actually wanted. Point is, we can all look along our dash and find memories. Some we want to cherish, others we wish we could forget. The process of life is about processing the things that come our way and moving through them. Sadly, we don't always process life in a way that's helpful to our future selves. Society tells us we need to get over it and move on. We get 7 sick days a year if we're lucky. And we get 3 to 5 bereavement days if someone close to us passes away. And by close to us, I mean an immediate family member. So if you have a friend who is like family, you don't get any days. Move on, get over it. Then there's the complete glossing over of collective trauma and how it affects our dash. We're not given time to truly process our feelings, and most of us don't take the time. So we're all walking around as wounded souls who do not know how to feel or who do not want to feel in order to heal. The process of life is just that, a process. It's a series of learning experiences that, if we process well, take us to the next best iteration of ourselves. And to process, we must learn to do a few things. 1, accept what's happening, what's happened or is happening. When I was 9 years old, we lived in Salt Lake City, Utah, and I remember being out bike riding with one of my friends. And we got to a hill that we'd gone down many times. We got to the hill, we went down the hill, but at the bottom of the hill, somehow there was sand. And I hit my brakes on the sand, and I went flying off my bike. Left side. I know it's the left side because that's where I have my scar, and that's where I had my scratch, and that's where I had the scratch, and that's where my scratch was on my leg. It was the whole left side. And my friend came over and she says, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, yeah, I'm okay. While my head was throbbing. And I said, I just need to sit down. So I went to sit down, and my friend had this horrified look on her face, and I couldn't understand why. And then I put my hand up, and there was blood. And then I started screaming. My friend quickly said, "I'm gonna go get my dad." And she left. Her dad was a medical student at the University of Utah. We were living on the student housing, family housing, and they were set up in courts, and they were our downstairs neighbors. So she ran, she got her dad, and her dad came and he saw me, and he picked me up, and he ran me back to his apartment, cleaned me up, and put butterfly tape on my scar. It worked really well because now every time I tell people I have a scar there, they're like, "I can't see it." So it was a good thing. Thing was, I didn't accept that I was hurt, and I didn't accept that there was a problem until I saw the blood. I was going to get over it and move on, even though my head was throbbing. The next thing we need to do is self-care. We need to sleep. We need to eat well. We need to exercise. We need to drink lots of water. We need to meditate, and we need to breathe. Then we need to connect. We need to connect with those who can provide us with a safe, trusting, and affirming space. I'm going to say that again. We need to connect with people who can provide us with a safe, trusting, and affirming space. Not everyone is equipped for that. Then you gotta feel your feelings. You gotta get angry, you gotta get sad, you gotta cry, you gotta scream, you gotta laugh, you gotta dance, you gotta do whatever you can to feel your feelings and then process through the experience. We spend so much time swallowing and denying our feelings, only to have them show up at the most inopportune times. We're not designed to choke down who we are and how we feel. We are designed to process and learn from the events of life. And there are some we wish we didn't need to go through. Are there? Absolutely. However, that doesn't change that we've gone through them or that we have to go through them. The past 2 years has taught me to process, to give myself space and grace, and to connect with those who nurture safe, trusting, and affirming spaces. Safe, trusting, and affirming relationships. It's not easy. I would never say that it is. However, it's made for a lot of change in my world. I've shed lots of tears, yelled into the void to get it out, and spent a lot of time learning about myself. The process of life took me from wanting to be a pediatrician when I graduated from high school to being and advocating for justice at work and beyond today. That is not linear. And as I look back to see the changes, I also look forward, feeling stronger and better prepared for what comes. In my space at home, I have 2 signs that I see every day. The first one says, stay patient and trust your journey. The second one says, you never know how strong you are until being strong is the only choice you have. Trust your journey and know that being strong isn't about pushing your feelings down and choking for the benefit of others. It's about facing the hard things and going through what needs to be learned. The process of life isn't linear and is never without pain. However, learning to accept, learning to take care of yourself, and learning to surround yourself with your people and feeling your feelings so that in the end, just like my 3-year-old self, instead of feeling the fears, you know they were there and you feel beyond that. Want to do the meditation now. So take a deep, cleansing breath. Let it move entirely through your body. As you inhale, pause for a moment at the top of your breath, then exhale, letting out your breath extend just a bit longer than your inhale. Sometimes it may be difficult to take deep breaths, depending on your stress level, but do what you can. We have potential for healing, for positive change, for a greater sense of inner peace and even freedom. All of this and more lies within each of us. As you continue to breathe, notice any reactions you're having in this moment. You might notice a particular sensation or stressor, but just notice. This gentle act of noticing allows us to create space for our automatic reactions. When we notice, we allow ourselves to choose to respond with intention. Take another deep breath, as deeply as is comfortable for you. Breathing deeply brings us to a state of equilibrium. to a place of support and even peace. With this greater sense of ease, continue to observe what is rising for you in this moment. Between stimulus and response, there is space. Now, let's imagine together. Imagine a door. Open the door. Walk through and inside. The space feels quiet and peaceful. Pause there. Bring to mind a memory that brings feelings of joy and peace and even a little excitement. Feel the energy of this moment. Next, bring to mind a moment when you felt awe, maybe a beautiful scenic view at the end of a long hike, maybe an amazing sunset that you paused to witness, or maybe an unexpected rainbow. Feel that moment. Feel the joy. Pause there. Finally, imagine a kind, loving figure, maybe a grandparent, teacher, or friend. Feel them sharing their warmth and love with you, reminding you that you are loved. Know that this kind, loving space is available to you at any time. When you're ready, bring your attention back to your breath. Wiggle your fingers and toes, and know that you can carry this feeling of spaciousness, joy, trust, and ease into every day. Our closing hymn